Now, before I hand the program over to my colleague, Casey Komninsky, let me tell you a little bit about our featured guest, Neal Smatresk. An accomplished biologist and researcher, President Smatresk holds bachelor's and master's degrees in biology and a PhD in zoology, which he earned at UT Austin's Port Aransas Marine Laboratory. His academic career has included teaching and leadership roles at UT Arlington, the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where he served as president and provost. In 2014, Dr. Smatresk was named UNT's 16th president and quickly set out to raise UNT's stature on a national and international scale. Since his arrival, UNT has been named a Tier 1 research university by the Carnegie classification, grown in enrollment to serve more than 39,000 students, and has seen 77 of its 230 academic programs ranked among the nation's top 100. Dr. Smatresk also led the way in opening our new campus in Frisco last year and has helped UNT forge partnerships with internationally known companies and brands, including Toyota, NetDragon, and the Dallas Cowboys. Today, we'll learn a little bit more about his journey to UNT as he leads us on a culinary adventure from his home kitchen. Take it away, Casey.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Smatresk. Thank you so much for being here. Before we get going, I would like to ask, may I address you as President, Mr. President, President Smatresk? What would you prefer?
I think today it's Chef Neal.
Chef Neal. Today we will be noshing with Chef Neal. So everybody sit back, relax. If you don't have something refreshing to drink or nosh on at home, you might want to grab something. But I'm very excited because Chef Neal is going to teach us how to create a really refreshing, would you call this an appetizer, a main dish? What are we talking here?
Just depends on how hungry you are, but I think it's an appetizer.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you take it away and tell us a little bit about what you have laid out in front of you and introduce us to your recipe.
Well, first, if you saw the original plug for this, I was going to cook this kind of dish called coquille saujac with scallops and bechamel and mashed potatoes. And I thought, I've been sitting around the house and sitting at a lot of Zoom meetings, and the quarantine 15 is a real thing. It's a beautiful summer day. So I felt like, why don't I make something that really celebrates summer, that's light and bright, that everybody loves? So today I'm going to be making Vietnamese summer rolls. And if you've never had them, boy, I think you're in for a treat. And I think you'll love them. And the best part is, it's super easy to prepare, takes a few minutes with fairly common ingredients, which I'll go over here in just a second. But I have to say, way back when I lived in Arlington, Debbie and I fell in love with Vietnamese food there. When we went to Hawaii, we were just surrounded by Asian influences, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Hawaiian, Chinese. I mean, it was so much good food. And in our travels to Thailand and Cambodia and other places, we kept bringing home ideas and recipes and things that we could do and cook with. And this is one of my favorites. Vietnamese cuisine is remarkable. It is a great fusion of the Asian tradition and French, because they were a French colony for so long. And as a result, it's light, it's bright, it's fresh, it's very full of wonderful vegetables, but a lot of neat spices. So, the delicious foods that they serve there, you ought to try my favorite little Asian joint. It's called Phao One. It's in Louisville, down Business 121. That's not just a paid plug. It's just a really good place to get Vietnamese food. And today, these summer rolls that I'm going to make are very different than the kind of typical egg roll that you see. Summer rolls, unlike egg rolls, Vietnamese egg rolls are called chai yao. And I can never say it right. When I say it to my Vietnamese friends, they laugh at me because their enunciation is so much better. But normal egg rolls are crispy and fried, and you wrap them up in Vietnam in a lettuce leaf and you dunk them in a sauce called nuoc mong, and they're amazing. Today, unlike those crispy fried ones, we're going to use rice paper, which is very thin. This is Vietnamese rice paper, and you can get it nowadays at supermarkets, most anywhere, but certainly if you go to Carrollton, you can buy this in the stores there. It's a rice wrapper, it's extremely thin, and from my perspective, makes a great wrapping for almost anything you want to put into. So what do we put into these? These are little like uncooked flavor bombs, and they include noodles, veggies, and usually a protein of your choice. And it can be almost anything. It can be crispy pork, thin sliced steak. It can be mushrooms or tofu. And today I'm going to use the most common ingredient, shrimp, to make these. So the Vietnamese egg rolls that were the summer rolls we're making right now are tasty, but they're even better when you add a spicy special peanut dipping sauce. So that's where we're heading on this. So I don't know, unless there's some questions you want me to answer right now, I'll go over the ingredients and begin to show you how to put them all together. So anything going on?
Yeah, there's actually a really big question, and the audience is dying to know, what does your apron say?
It basically says President Neal, the grill magician, in Italian.
So we'll have to do that on episode 2 of Noshing with Neal. Is that what we're going to do?
Yes, I guess so. And I just want you to know that my wife got this all put together for me, and I love it. Okay.
It looks lovely. It is very well done. I'm really excited about this recipe personally because you said it's easy, and it sounds like it's really light. And I'm pretty certain I've had these several times at other restaurants. But as far as calorie content, because I too am very conscious of the COVID-19, as we call it here at our house. How would you gauge this? Is it just depending on what you put in the fillers, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, a couple shrimp, some veggies that have almost no calories, the rice wrapper and the noodles have a few. I'd say the deadly sin here would be the peanut dipping sauce that I'm about to make.
Which is delicious. And I'm assuming we'll get to know what your secret ingredient is with that. Is that correct?
Yes,
Excellent.
You will.
Excellent. So
I just wish you were there to smell it because it's pretty funky.
It must be is it the rice vinegar or the fish oil or sesame oil?
No, it's the fish sauce.
That will get
a Vietnamese standard.
But it's so good.
Soy sauce is for wimps. Fish sauce is umami.
You heard it first from the president. Get your fish sauce. All right. Well, Neal, what began with your fascination with the Vietnamese culture and cuisine?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I walked into a Vietnamese restaurant and tried their food, I was like, what is this? Where has it been all my life? It's amazing. And it was so different than Chinese or Japanese cooking. It just seemed to take the best of everything and put it together. Loved it.
That's fantastic. And I love that you're flexing with your language skills and teaching us some nice words there that we can hopefully integrate into our vocabulary as well. So keep it up. Let's hear what else you've got.
Well, I mean, by the way, just, Vietnamese food comes in about 3 or 4 basic styles. There's pho, the soup, which is noodles with beef and other types of veggies in it. There is bun, which is what Debbie and I probably like best. It's this type of noodles served generally at room temperature on a bed of lettuce with pork or maybe the fried pork or crispy egg rolls. By the way, Vietnamese fried pork is maybe one of the best things you ever put in your mouth. It's fantastic. There's rice dishes, phum, and then there's sandwiches, which are really French baguettes filled with the yummy ingredients that some of which you're going to see here today, which is called banh. So today we're deviating from the staples and we're moving into this light summer roll. And you know what? I want to just point out a few things in the ingredients that we're working on here. First, you have to have these little thin rice vermicelli noodles. This is the Vietnamese style. They come in little packages. You plunk them in warm water for 10, 15 minutes and they soften up. If you need to, stick it in the microwave and it'll get better. So set those back here. Those I got in one of the Asian specialty stores in Carrollton, but these are my phone and I bought them at Kroger. Very thin rice sticks. You see how they orient and how they orient and package them. And that's what we'll be using today because I figured I might as well use something you can actually buy.
Hey, Neal, would you mind bringing those closer to the camera so everyone can see those? And while you're doing that, I need to know, actually everyone needs to know, who were you rooting for when we played UNLV in the Heart of Dallas Bowl?
Well, so UNLV was still paying my paycheck. My wife was dressed in green and she didn't waver. I was dressed in red, but I wore a red and green tie because ESPN said, hey, dude, you got to do this and do the coin flip. But at the end of the day, the right team won. And it was so lovely. As I was walking out, a kid had a sign that said, "We beat your team, we stole your president." And that's one of the happiest moments of my life, I think.
I love that. It's amazing. All right. So
My phone, and this is a kinkier kind of vermicelli, but it works just as good. Can you see that okay on the screen?
I can. So I think with the vermicelli, it sounds like you can't overcook those. You just put them in water and leave them there for 10 minutes, or do they need to be removed from the water after 10 minutes?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I'm impatient, so what I usually do is get a pot on the stove, heat it up with the noodles in it. 3 or 4 minutes later, they're pretty good. You want them a little bit al dente, so they give a little texture and a little crunch to the roll. I'm going to show you these noodles. They've been sitting in this water for quite a while, and yet they're still good. You can see they're delicious looking. Maybe I can bend this down a little.
There you go.
You can see it?
It's good. You can see it.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'll take these noodles later and I'll show you how to chop them up and prepare them. But let's go over the whole ingredient list.
Okay.
Some shrimp. As I put them in, of course, I'll take the tails off.
Now, are those seasoned with anything?
No,
Okay.
don't want anything on them. We use some lettuce. I've got a little sliced mandolin cabbage. I've got some basil leaves, and if you have Thai basil, that's the best, but you can't buy those at Kroger right now. I've julienned some carrots, or excuse me, some cucumbers, and why don't I just bring the whole plate over here?
There you go.
And carrots.
Now, could you tell us a little bit about the difference between Thai basil and regular basil?
Well, they're not even the same. They're not related in any way. I have a little baby Thai basil plant growing out back because it's fairly hard to get.
Okay.
Thai basil has, it's almost like between a mint and a basil with a real good kick to it. It's not hot, but it imparts a almost unique flavor when you're cooking Vietnamese food, and you'll see it at virtually all the Vietnamese restaurants.
That's fantastic. Would you say that you do all of the cooking in the house, or is this a 50-50 split? Is this your hobby?
Lately, I think Debbie's been doing most of it. I mean, she's been prepping up. We just finished, for example, she just got done making a really good eggplant parmesan. Maybe that needs to be an episode one of these
That
days.
sounds delicious too.
It's also a make-ahead freeze dish, and that's great in these times, right?
Right, absolutely.
Well, okay, so you saw the basic ingredients. Now, first we're going to start with the dipping sauce. The dipping sauce is good old-fashioned smooth peanut butter, nothing fancy. And I gave measurements in the recipe I put out there, but the truth is I don't really ever measure it.
That's how you know you're really good, is you don't have to, right?
Well, no, I just keep eating until I like it. I have coconut milk here, just the kind you buy in the can at the store. I'm going to add a bunch of it to the peanut butter. I'm going to kind of stir it up. I want it to be loose and creamy, and the coconut milk really harkens to those kind of Thai, Southeast Asian, Vietnamese flavors.
So if you're just now tuning in, whether it's on Facebook or Zoom, you are joining us as Chef President Neal Smatresk is preparing some delicious spring rolls for us and teaching us his ways of doing this. And we'd love to hear from you guys, know where you're from, where you're tuning in from. Be sure to invite your friends to watch this. The recipe will be provided to our viewers in the Zoom room in an email after the show. So be sure to hop on over at the Zoom room so you can have access to that as well. So right now, Neal is mixing up peanut butter and coconut milk.
And if you're really brave, you can put in a little bit of lime, but if you put in too much, it curdles.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure I recommend it.
I feel like you're speaking from experience there. Is that right?
Possibly, hypothetically.
Right.
All right, it's almost stirred up, and this is really the hard part, but there's one other fun part, and that's the magic that is in this little tiny bit of fish sauce. You don't even want to know how fish sauce is made. As a biologist, it's even hard for me to stomach. But let's just say lots of fermented fish in water create a very pungent and flavorful sauce that's quite salted. And so in a lot of Southeast Asian cooking, instead of using soy, fish sauce is the salt and flavor profile. By the way, for those of you, I'm sure you've heard the phrase umami before. Umami is that meaty flavor that you get in mushrooms and steak, in tofu and soybeans and soy sauce. And of course, the umami from fish sauce really brightens up something, gives it a meaty texture. And just as a scientist, umami is actually a separate taste. There's sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and umami. And umami is made by receptors on your tongue that respond to glutamate. And glutamate is what accent is made out of. So Asian cooking uses a lot of glutamate to give umami flavor to food.
Very interesting.
So we got the umami going.
Well, hey, Chef Neal, creamy or crunchy peanut butter? The world needs to know.
Creamy.
These are
Gotta be
important
creamy.
questions, really important questions. And where is your favorite place to eat Asian cuisine in Denton?
Ooh, that's tricky. I like Viet Bites. I gotta tell you, it's pretty great.
I love Viet Bites.
And you know, there's a lot of little hole-in-the-wall Asian places. And honestly, I think I like the Asian fast food as much as food at the fancy places. So I'm not gonna make any of our potential customers and students angry by picking just one.
That's a safe call. I have to say, when I was in school there back in 2002 to 04, there was a noodle house right across the street where now the CVS pharmacy sits, and we could get an entire to-go box full of noodles and rice for about $2.35, and we would eat on that for about 3 days. It was delicious and phenomenal.
Wow.
Love college town prices.
Yeah, I would have loved trying that. Boy, I'll tell you what, you know, Viet Bites is delicious, but I gotta say, it's not necessarily friendly on a college student's budget. All right, we're gonna take the coconut milk peanut butter mixture and plop it into one of these pretty little blue bowls that I think we got in Japan. I'm gonna set this aside. Pardon?
Riley smells that peanut butter in the fish sauce.
Okay, now I'm gonna add the magic, okay? First, it was smooth peanut butter, but I'm gonna make it crunchy, just on top. And chopped up peanuts, crushed up peanuts is a great way for celebrating Vietnamese food. It's in a whole lot of the food. But now here's the real magic. Okay, everybody knows what sriracha is. What I think is better than sriracha is sambal. So it's chili garlic sauce, red chili peppers, lots of garlic. Oh boy, almost burns your nose when you smell it.
Closer to the camera.
So there is the sauce. Now it's also made, I call it rooster sauce. A lot of Vietnamese food has the rooster.
The chili garlic paste is to die for, and definitely the way to go. Now, Chef Neal, with all of the peanut allergies, for our people out there that may suffer from peanut allergies, is there any substitution that may come close that they could use?
Well, that's a great question. First, I'm sad for people. I'm going to just clean this again.
If your nose starts running because that's too spicy.
I'm sad for people who can't eat peanuts because they add so much to different food. And I'm not sure if peanut allergies extend to cashews, but cashews are very Southeast Asian. It's a major product in Thailand. So I might sub out cashews or even almonds, anything to give it a little extra crunch and pop when you dig the roll into it.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Let me quickly prep an avocado, which is also one of the fun ingredients. And again, the sky's the limit. Just think of anything you want to put in and go for the gold, as long as it can be wrapped up the way you see me wrapping later. Just pop in the pit here.
There you go. So what would you say is your biggest accomplishment in your culinary world?
Oh, being friends with great chefs.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a really great one.
Guy Fieri's a personal friend, but when Debbie and I were in Vegas, we got to meet many of the top chefs that you see on TV. In fact, we did in Hawaii. We knew Roy Yamaguchi. We knew, oh my goodness, who? Alan Wong. And they're all very popular TV chefs. And I'll tell you what, having them take care of you when you're at their restaurant is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Absolutely. So transitioning from the kitchen to, say, the university, what would you say your biggest accomplishment is at UNT so far? You've got so many. Like, I know it's going to be hard to pick one, but I've seen you change.
Tier one was awesome, but I can't really claim it. That's something that came after year of very hard work. We can celebrate it. I think right now, I would actually have to say guiding the school through this current crisis is something I'm very proud of, because we're going to come out of this stronger and better than ever. The planning's been great. The teams work really well together. Imagine taking everything off campus in a 2-week period of time. There were some rough transitions, but I think looking around at many of my colleagues in other institutions, I would say we weathered it better than most, and maybe one of the best in the country. So right now, I guess, there's no time better for leadership than when you're facing a major crisis. And we had the right team at the right place.
I couldn't agree more. Right. You guys have done an amazing job.
Chopping up a little of the avocado.
I don't want to distract you. That knife looks really sharp, so I'm going to sit quietly.
I have a minor knife fetish,
oh.
As Debbie will attest. There's a drawer over there that's pretty full of knives. In fact, this is specifically, these knives, every time I go to Japan, there's a section in every Japanese town devoted to restaurant supplies and pottery and dishes and knives. This particular knife was the first one I got, and I love it. It is stainless, which isn't the hardest steel, but it also doesn't rust. It's made specifically for chopping vegetables. Japanese people have a knife for every specific function. This is one of my favorites. This is a sushi knife.
Can you hold that closer to the camera?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is made specifically to make sashimi and to cut sushi. And it's interesting. First, it has to the C on it. Secondly, it's sharp as heck. But here's the weird thing. Note, it's only one-sided. One side's flat, one side's beveled. Japanese people bevel their knives at 15 degrees compared to about 7 or 8 degrees of bevel in American knives and European knives. So that makes the knives a little sharper, but then they need a lot more care and sharpening in between. The reason a sushi knife is interesting to me is because you have to get a right or a left-handed one. If you're left-handed, this knife won't cut the right way. So this is a right-handed sushi knife, and it allows a perfectly flat cut. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to show you. And
that nearly gave me a heart attack. I'm not seeing which side of the knife you had there.
Don't worry, it's okay.
You're just showing off now. I like it.
Yeah, I won't juggle knives or anything, I promise.
It's so funny.
All right. So what I've done right now is I've cut up some of this avocado, which is a little on the right side. And now I'm going to get the maifun noodles. I'm going to drain them as best I can here.
And even though those have been sitting in water for
quite a while,
they're not going to be soggy. They'll still kind of have some texture to them. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I wish you could eat some. Right now, they're almost a perfect al dente.
Nice.
Very thin and
very nice.
Perfect. So here's what I do. I cut it to approximately spring roll wrapper size. If you see what I'm doing here.
We do, yeah.
All right. That makes it a little easier to organize when you're making the actual rolls. And let me just keep washing my hands here.
Organization is key, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to keep things nice and clean and tidy around the kitchen, keep them organized. Chef Neal, could you tell us what's the most challenging Asian dish you've ever tried to make? And have you ever
Ooh.
tried Peking duck? Am I saying that correctly? I hope.
I have never tried Peking duck, and I really want to. It is relatively challenging because you've got to loosen the skin off the duck as you prepare it. So it is a little complicated. I would say that more so than some of the Asian dishes, I love, we love stir fry, noodle dishes. We like rice dishes, fried rice dishes. Simple things like kimchi fried rice. You make up a good fried rice Hawaiian style or Chinese style. You load it up with the veggies and the meats that you want. Top it off with some kimchi and mix it all up. It's delicious. Or some of that gochujang, that real hot red spice that Koreans put on everything. But I think one of my favorite dishes I've ever prepared was a Hawaiian dish, which is sashimi Napoleons.
Ooh.
And basically you take egg roll wrappers, wonton wrappers, you fry them lightly so they're crisp. Then you make alternate layers of wrapper, avocado, sashimi, tuna, or usually tuna or salmon, wrapper, avocado, and you get this stack. At the top, you garnish a little bit of a salmon or tuna thin slice to make it look like a flower. And then, of course, you put in ginger and soy and wasabi, drizzle it, and eat it up. It's not really hard to make, it's fussy to make. It's an artful dish. So that's one of my favorites. And the other one I love is a Roy Yamaguchi recipe that is basically tuna tartare with tomatoes and avocados that are sliced up, put them in a ring bowl, pop it up, cover that also with a wasabi aioli. Very easy to make, very elegant, pretty filling actually. So those are a couple of my favorites.
Wonderful.
All right. Yes?
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, let's see how you prepare these rice wrappers.
This is the tricky part. And there's a lot of rice wrappers in here, so don't be afraid if you blow one or two, and it's a little bit tricky. So you take one like this. I've got this big bowl full of water. I'm going to just let it get wet. I'm not going to really keep it in there.
Okay.
Let it drain off and lay it down.
And that's it.
As the water soaks into it, it softens and becomes pliable instead of crispy. You take some noodles.
Now, does it matter what temperature the water is?
No, just
okay.
Right out of the tap.
Right on.
Take a few noodles and then kind of just decorate it up to personal taste here. Got some cucumbers coming in on both sides. I'm going to try to wrap them in two different ways and show you the differences in the results. I've got a couple julienne carrots in here. Let's throw in some avocado.
I just want you to know that Riley is waiting for you to drop something. So
yes, she is. She's down here begging, and it's really irritating.
We have to know, do you let the dog play cleanup crew like the rest of us might, or do you?
Well, when it hits the floor, she's really fast. She's 16 years old, but she's quick on her feet.
And she knows what's good.
So I've just thrown a little of everything on here. I'm going to lay out a couple cilantro leaves like this. I love cilantro. Oh my God, fresh cilantro is so good.
It is so good. I know my biggest challenge whenever I prepare anything like this, whether it's a burrito or a Vietnamese spring roll, is I overfill. I put too much in there. How do you keep
And I'm going to do exactly the same thing.
Oh, I didn't mean to set you up for failure.
No, it's fine, because that's what you do with these. You get all the good stuff. Okay, got a couple fruit on top. Now comes the tricky part. This wrapper is very fragile in this state. So I lift it with a knife edge.
Now, is it best to prepare this on a wooden surface, or does that matter?
Actually, it's on a wooden surface, and honestly, it's better if you prepare it on a plastic surface because the wood absorbs the water and makes it stick more.
Okay.
But this was prettier.
We agree.
You notice I folded the sides in.
Uh-huh.
Now I take the top, and now what I'm going to do is squeeze it kind of hard, okay? and roll, and roll, and roll.
And you didn't
And
even
now
tear it.
I'm going to dampen it, because if you're not going to eat them right away, you don't want them to dry out on you. I'll bring this over. Here is a Vietnamese summer roll: shrimp, carrots, cucumbers, cilantro, cabbage, lettuce, and the noodles.
Neal, can you hold it up just a little bit
Oh,
more? Yeah, there you go.
there you go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
That's-
there's shrimp there. And I'm going to make another one where the shrimp will show more. I'm going to lay that out on one of these dishes. And I don't know how the time is.
You're
You
doing
got a
great.
lot of time.
Yeah.
I can go slower if you
No,
want.
no, you're fine. I've got so much I want to talk to you about, and but I also don't want to distract you or make you cut yourself. So, it's a fine balance. But keep rolling. This is fascinating. I think that I know when I've purchased these, whether even at like Central Market or anything like that, where they're pre-made, it's always, you never know if it's going to be dried out, like you mentioned. So what would you say is the average shelf life on these?
None, zero.
Eat them in.
If I was going to leave this out for 15 more minutes, I would put a wet paper towel over it.
Good to know.
Okay, just keep the moisture in that rice, or run it under the water real quickly before you reserve for some. So if you really want to, you can make a stack of them and then just keep them with wet paper towel layers and drizzle a little water on top. All right.
Will you remind the audience where you can purchase these rice wrappers?
I've seen them in some of the standard big box stores, Kroger and Albertsons, but mostly I get mine when I go to Carrollton, to one of the big Asian chains that are out there. There's a ton of them. Just type in Asian grocery store and you'll see what I mean. Oh, hold it. I'm gonna do this one differently. I'm gonna put the shrimp on the bottom for this one, because I think they show up better.
It's all about presentation, ladies and gentlemen. All about.
Yes, it is. So, shrimp.
What is the most unique ingredient you've tried in one of these?
I'm pretty standard in these. I won't lie. I like what I like. I have put in thin sliced steak, and it's delicious.
Okay.
I have put in chicken. It's not as delicious. So I'm just going to say, use your imagination and eat what you want when you make these.
That's wonderful.
I thought you were going to say, what's the weirdest ingredient I've ever eaten? I have a story about
that too. Tell us, please. Let's hear it.
Debbie and I were in Thailand or Cambodia or Singapore. Oh, Singapore. No. Singapore. And a very popular item there is called durian.
Say that one more time.
Huh?
Say the word one more time. It kind of glitched.
Durian.
Durian.
It is, I won't call it a melon, but it's kind of melon-like. They are illegal to carry on public transportation because their smell is so offensive. Try to imagine something that smells like sweat socks and funky cheese.
It looks like a turnip.
But it looks like a giant turnip or, a jackfruit.
My
right?
son's hockey bag, I think, is what would be the closest thing.
Yeah, you can understand why people don't really love them on public transportation.
Right.
So they have a taste, however, that is, once you get past the smell, is really pretty damn good. So we ate durian and durian ice cream, and I'll just say, wasn't in love with the ice cream, but the durian surprised me. Okay, now you can see the shrimp a little better in this one.
Hey, Neal, the light is really bright on that. So yeah, there we go. Back it up just a little bit. So if you'll kind of recap what you just put in that for everyone, because they're asking just before the shrimp, I believe it was the vermicelli noodles. Is that correct?
Shrimp, vermicelli, julienne carrots, julienne cucumbers, a little touch of cabbage, a chunk of lettuce. I didn't put the cilantro in that one. Darn it, I forgot. Every once in a while you get carried away.
Some people don't like it.
And a roll, and avocado.
Wonderful.
So I'm going to make a couple more, and I'm happy to I've got this on autopilot now if you want to ask questions.
All right, here we go. All right, so first off, if you are just now joining us and tuning in on Facebook Live or maybe hopping over to the Zoom room, welcome. We are so glad you're joining us. Chef, or how do I put this? Chef President Neal is preparing.
I think Chef Neal for the day.
Chef Neal for the day is preparing some Vietnamese spring rolls for us, and they look refreshing and delicious. And it appears that this is one of his favorite pastimes and hobbies is eating as well as cooking. So we are so grateful to have him here to kind of talk to us in a more casual atmosphere and let us get to know him a little bit better. So let us hear your questions for President Neal, university related, kitchen related, it doesn't matter. Ask him about Riley. Riley's fantastic. His beautiful bride, you know, Debbie's over there doing a great job directing. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes, she is. She's making sure I don't screw up and I stay centered here.
She's doing a great job. Someone's asking, do we serve these cold or cool?
No, just like this, room temperature.
Perfect. Perfect.
I mean, the ingredients have been chilled, so, you know, maybe there's a little bit of coldness to them, but you don't have to do anything to them. And you can see that once you get the stuff prepped, you can make these pretty fast.
I think I would like make one, eat one, make one. It would be a long process for me.
I've been known to do that.
For sure. So we've got some people asking, do you dunk the sauce or do you drizzle it?
Well, it depends. I think Debbie's a drizzler and uses a spoon. I'm a dunker. So you want everyone to have their own cup just in case anyone's offended by double dipping.
Right.
All right. One more lovely summer roll.
Beautiful. I love that. Great job. Great job.
Yay.
All right. So
and we're going to do one more.
How did you get interested in cooking?
I don't know. It's just a fun thing to do. You know, Debbie and I really started life off after my University of Buffalo days. I went down to UT Austin and I went to the Port Aransas Marine Labs. And it's on an island, you know, Mustang Island. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there isn't a lot to do all the time. We grew food. We grew our own gardens. We had 3 crops a year. I went out fishing and caught shrimp and flounder and redfish and all the good stuff. And we just started cooking. It was fun.
That's awesome. I wish I had the patience to chop and prepare food like that, but I just don't. And so I love it when people that I know and in my family really enjoy it, because then I get to reap the rewards. So I'm sure your family is very grateful for that as well. As we gear up for next week's wine tasting with the North Texas Tempranillo, and we start talking about wine, perhaps. Oh yes, I believe I have.
And thank John Edwards for
John Matthews. Yes, John Matthews. Yes. He is our winemaker and has created our private labeled North Texas Tempranillo. So next week, we're going to do a wine tasting with this. Also, the Casaro Wines recently released Pinot Grigio and a rosé. So if you're interested in participating in that with us next week, be sure and go to casarowines.com to order your wines. They are shipping daily, or you can pick them up just 20 minutes of South Dallas. And Neal, what would you say you would pair with this particular dish?
Well, you know, a little bit traditional. It's seafood and it's light, so I'd probably get a Pinot Grigio, and I think Debbie's preparing a little Pinot as we're talking for her.
Debbie in my house
for her dining entertainment here. But you know, there's no rules with wine anymore. I'm going to say, do I love a fat zin with a steak? Sure, I do. But I think you can drink any color wine you want, any way you want, because it's made to be enjoyed.
That's right.
And this Tempranillo is a really, really fine bottle of wine.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate it. Oh my goodness, this is so much fun. So I have to give you a very sincere and honest shout out as we begin to wrap things up, because as not only an alumna, but now a staff member, I have seen you've firsthand come in and change the culture and climate of this university in a very short amount of time. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for my university and for our students. And I'm not going to get emotional, but just know that it means a lot to us to see you bring in some top-notch faculty, staff members, and to see you walk around campus, high-fiving, taking selfies with our students and getting to know them. That's pretty special. And, you know, that speaks volumes to, again, the character and who we are at North Texas. And it takes a really special person to take on all that you've taken on and still make our students top priority and get out and see them on a day-to-day basis when we're on campus. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank you for everything that you've done for us.
Wow, that's super kind, but you know, it's a team.
It is.
And while it warms my heart to hear that, we're a community, and we're a great community. It's an easy community to want to support and to be happy with. And the only thing I'm sad about is that I can't get together with everybody.
I know.
I can't wait to see you all. I can't wait to go to a football game and walk around campus and take my selfies with the students, because I do love that. It's time in my mind for us to try to figure out, come fall, how we can get ourselves back onto campus. And we're planning a return for any of the alum who are out there if you haven't been watching our notes. It won't be a full return, it'll be a safe return. But we hope that we can give incoming students that kind of great college experience that the University of North Texas is known for all the time.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, it's a team effort. Dr. David Wolf, Ren Baker, and so many more have done so much for us. So we can't thank you enough for your time and dirtying up Miss Debbie's kitchen there. I'm sure she's really thankful for that. But now she's got a nice, you know, refreshing snack for this afternoon. So do we have any more last minute questions that we can, oh, I have one more here for you. I think this is a great one. Actually, I've got two. Number one, what is your least favorite food?
Ooh, I don't have a lot of foods I hate.
Black licorice, even?
What?
Black licorice?
Well, I actually love black licorice. Let me think. I don't love sweet potatoes. How's that?
That's acceptable.
But I can eat them, you know?
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then also, what is your favorite UNT event aside from football?
Homecoming weekend is terrific, but the day before homecoming weekend, we have a bonfire, and it's just one of the best traditions anywhere. You know, 6,000 to 8,000 students and faculty and staff members cheering on NT40 and our not NT40, I'm sorry, our various spirit brigades as they build the giant fire and light it, and then the fireworks are going off. And the other one that I love is Block Party. I think Block Party very much typifies us, and I worry that we won't be able to honor those traditions this year. But if we don't, maybe we'll have to play videos of last year's and, you know, relive those moments virtually. So those are three things I miss. But the other one, of course, that we're missing right now, in fact, this next few days, is graduation. This would have been graduation weekend, and kids want to walk the stage. Do you know our average number of attendees for each kid is 9?
Wow.
9 family members show up. So it's a big deal, especially for our first gen population. So that wasn't one, that was several, but those are the things that I'm most interested in seeing get back to campus.
Absolutely. And our hearts go out to all of our graduates, and we're so proud of you. And we are so grateful that you chose UNT. And we hope that you guys, if you need anything, your alumni association is here for you. We are here to support you and cheer you on as you go out into the big world. All right. So don't forget about your university. And who is this lovely lady joining us?
This is the hostess with the mostest.
I'm welcoming you to our home. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for all you do. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. And thank you